Welcome back, focused learners. Today, we are completely tossing out the traditional guidebooks. Forget the boring double-decker bus tours and the predictable snapshots of Big Ben. Instead, we've designed an unconventional explainer that's basically going to double as your eccentric travel itinerary to Britain's most delightfully weird locations, hidden histories, and downright baffling laws. So, I've got to ask, are you ready for a completely unusual vacation? Because if you're the kind of traveler who is fully prepared to bypass those standard tourist traps and experience the truly bizarre secret realities hidden all across the UK, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to navigate through the absolute absurdities of British history and geography together. Here is our tour itinerary for today. First, transit and bunkers. Second, extreme local customs. Third, rules for tourists. And finally, sightseeing and souvenirs. Let's dive right in. Stop number 1 on the tour, transit and bunkers, getting around the underground. Now, any good tourist needs to know how to navigate the city, but before you even pack your bags, you really need to realize the massive scale of hidden infrastructure lying literally right beneath your feet. 40. That's the number of abandoned, ghost subway stations hidden under the bustling modern metropolis of London. So while millions of commuters are rushing around above ground, this absolutely massive network of hidden tunnels sits completely silent. And these places aren't just empty concrete tubes. They are incredibly atmospheric and honestly kind of eerie. They are literally frozen in time. If you were to somehow wander down into the dark, you'd find some of these ghost stations still featuring their original peeling advertising posters from the 1940s. It's a literal time capsule totally hidden from the typical tourist's view. But here's the really wild part. Some of these underground spots weren't just standard transit stops that fell out of use. Take North End, for example. It was completely isolated and explicitly built to serve as a top-secret, deep-level bunker during the Cold War. It is such a striking reminder of the tense history layered right into the city's bedrock. Now, if deep, dark underground bunkers aren't really your vibe, let's take to the air. Up in Scotland, you can take the world's shortest commercial flight between the islands of Westray and Papa Westray. The total distance, a mere 1.7 miles, and the flight time is just 47 seconds. Seriously, you will barely have enough time to fasten your seatbelt before you've arrived. Moving right along to Section 2, Extreme Local Customs. Welcome to Gloucestershire's Danger Zone. We are heading straight into a chaotic local tradition that is an absolute must-see for the adventurous traveler. 70 miles per hour. Let that sink in for a second. That is the sheer, terrifying velocity that a 9-pound wheel of double Gloucester cheese can reach as it barrels down a 200-yard hill. You heard me right, 70 miles per hour cheese. Let's break down the sheer absurdity of this globally famous tradition. Step 1. Chuck a heavy 9-pound cheese down a staggeringly steep 200-yard hill. Step 2. Throw yourself completely at the mercy of gravity and tumble right down after it. Step 3. Make absolutely sure you have an ambulance on standby. It is so notoriously dangerous that medical teams are a mandatory part of the event. Yet, thousands of tourists flock there every single year to either watch or brave the hill themselves. Okay, Section 3. Rules for tourists, strange laws, and linguistics. Look, surviving a cheese-chasing hell is great and all, but staying out of legal trouble is just as important. So let's rapidly brief you on some local rules so you don't end up on the wrong side of the law. First, beware the 1986 Salmon Act. Section 32 actually makes it a crime to handle salmon if you suspect it was caught illegally. So, if you see someone acting shady with a fish, maybe call the cops. Second, do not mess with the wildlife. The British monarch technically owns all unmarked mute swans in open water. Plus, the king's oceanic jurisdiction means any whales, dolphins, or sturgeons within 3 miles of the shore are officially royal fish. Oh, and linguistically? If you've ever wondered why fancy English words like beef or liberty exist, it's because between 1066 and 1362, a span on almost 300 years, French was actually the official language of England. Finally, Section 4, Sightseeing and Souvenirs, Big History and Tiny Spaces. With the rules covered, let's wrap up our explainer tour by looking at some truly ancient mysteries. To put Britain's timeline into a staggering perspective, the Great Pyramid of Giza was built around 2500 BC, right? But the first stages of Stonehenge were started nearly 5,000 years ago. It vastly predates the pyramids. And as a crazy testament to ancient engineering, to this very day, we still don't truly know how they managed to move those massive 25-ton stones into place. From massive stone monuments, Let's zoom all the way in on a must-see architectural anomaly. Over in Conway, Wales, sits a house that is only 72 inches wide. Just 72 inches. What makes this so fascinating is the impossible paradox of its former resident. A towering, 6'3" fisherman actually lived in this incredibly tiny space all the way up until 1900. The poor guy couldn't even stand up straight in his own home. Now, thinking about souvenirs to take home from your tour? Well, Britain has actually already given you the ultimate freebie. While the US created the underlying tech of the internet, the World Wide Web itself was invented by British scientist Tim Berners-Lee, and he completely refused to patent it. He just gave it away to the entire globe for free. That unpatented invention is literally the only reason you're able to watch this explainer right now. Let me leave you with one last little historical Easter egg to look out for on the streets while you wander. You know those iconic red post boxes? There are over 115,000 of them scattered across the UK. But next time you see one, look really closely at the front of it for this cipher. This little code identifies exactly which monarch was reigning when that specific box was built. Some of them are just hiding in plain sight with the cipher VR, meaning they've been standing right there since Queen Victoria reigned over 120 years ago. And just like that, our itinerary is complete. The UK is absolutely a place where the ancient meets the downright absurd. I mean, from exploring 40 underground ghost stations to watching people launch themselves down a hill after 70-mile-per-hour cheese. So to all our focused learners out there, which of these completely unusual facts shocked you the most? Take that provocative thought with you, and I can't wait to guide you through our next fascinating explainer.